Their top story tonight at 11, a new lawsuit filed nearly 1 year after that deadly FedEx shooting. 8 people died that night after a former employee opened fire inside and outside the FedEx ground facility near the international airport. Tonight, the families of 5 of those victims say FedEx and warehouse security are to blame. So for tonight's big story, we want to look into the lawsuit they filed today. We're also digging back into the FBI's finding to add some context for you. But first, our Emily Longnecker sat down with one of the victims' wives who joined that wrongful death suit.
How could something like this happen in a civilized society?
It's a question Mary Carol Weisert is still asking, nearly a year after her husband Stephen was one of 8 people shot and killed last April in a mass shooting at FedEx.
My son says every day, I just can't believe this happened, Mom. How could this happen? Why us? Why this?
Weisert has no good answers, just a lingering grief she only gets a break from when she goes to sleep at night, and even that is rarely peaceful, with the memory of learning Stephen was one of the shooting victims still haunting her.
I said, are you sure you have the right person? And that's when they whipped out the picture of him, and he was clearly deceased. That lives with me forever.
So does a lack of closure.
There's no closure because you know there's not going to be a trial because the person is deceased.
Weisert is talking about Brandon Hull, who police say took his own life after going on that deadly shooting spree.
Why? If he wanted to go, then go. But don't take everybody else with you.
Weisert is one of several named in a lawsuit filed against FedEx and the private security company working there. The suit alleges security failed to warn employees or take appropriate action when an active shooter got out of his car with a gun.
It's part of why I get emotional is just I cannot believe the brutality that somebody would do something like this.
And now Weisert is left trying to pick up the pieces of her life that don't seem to fit together any longer without Stephen, who she would have been married to 50 years this past November.
We did everything together. It's unfathomable. A lot of times I don't feel like, how am I going to go on? How am I going to do this?
For now, though, Weisert is just trying to figure out how to get through this coming Friday on the first anniversary of Stephen's death.
I don't know how I'm going to get through the day.
The wrongful death lawsuit also blames FedEx for not learning from previous shootings at other facilities. Among them, a 2011 shooting in Illinois where a man opened fire at a facility after issues with his wife who worked there. And then in 2014, when an employee shot 3 people at a warehouse north of Atlanta. The lawsuit claims those incidents both demonstrated the threat posted by shooters and that FedEx didn't do enough to prevent future attacks. Not everyone agrees, though. The sister of Matt Alexander, one of the 8 victims killed, posted on social media today saying she does not think FedEx is to blame. Now, according to the FBI's final report on the shooting last April, the suspect thought he'd have unrestricted access to the building, but was stopped by a checkpoint and had a conversation with security about his former employment. After he was denied entry, he told them he was going to get his ID and walked back to his car. A short time later, he started shooting people in the parking lot and the employee locker room area before taking his life. Investigators say he planned the attack for about 9 months and chose the FedEx facility because he was familiar with the layout and activity at the site.